we're live. We're live. Hey, everybody. This is Daphne Jordan, and we have the awesome Chris Jones. He is the HOA president.
Correct.
At Cook's Landing. I am in D4. I'm in District 4, and that's where Cook's Landing is. And so we're going to give you guys about another 2 minutes to jump in with us. It is exactly 6:47 to join in. Okay, so Pamela, I think Pamela is here. Hey, yes, Pamela.
Hey, Pamela.
I have 2 ways to see you all today. And we also have Monique, one of their residents. She's going to come on in a second. Don't make faces, Monique. She's going to get a chance to tell us what it has been like to be a resident. How long have you been a resident here? Since 04. Oh my, that's a very long time.
Yeah.
So we're going to go, hey, Pamela, we're going to go ahead and, this is my problem. I don't ever know who's in here. So I see that there's people
for
here.
You to determine?
I have no idea. Facebook Live is so much fun because you're live and you get to see everything, like everything. So we're just going to get started. Let me first start by applauding you guys for being a proactive community.
Thank
you. And taking, I would say, your community by the reins and saying, we're not going to have it. Okay, so for people that may have HOAs, and let's just say that they may not be as fine-tuned as you all are. They may not know how to bring things together. How long have you been the HOA president?
Last month made 2 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, so 2 years. Wow, you've done a lot in 2 years then.
2 years.
Whoa. So in 2 years, tell us what it was like coming in as the incoming HOA president, and what did you do? What made you look at your community and say, this is what, hey, Brandon, this is what we need to do, and how did you get the buy-in from the board? Like, let's just take it from the top.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for having us, Cook's Landing, here tonight. We appreciate it. When I came on board 2 years ago, previously I will stop right there. I was the president about 8 years ago for a short period of time.
Oh, wow.
7, 8 months, and I stepped away from it. And I came back 2 years ago, last month. So the community itself, Cook's Landing is a great community. It's a beautiful community. We're in close proximity, just like the other communities here in the South Fulton area, very close proximity to the airport. A lot of businesses, a lot of great merchants here that we can really take advantage of. And so we have great green space and things of that nature.
Right.
I put the disclaimer, sorry about the beeping you guys hear. The alarm, yeah, you forgot to tell them that.
I forgot. We are sounding the alarm.
Yeah, the alarm system, we just need to change the battery. Haven't had a chance to do that yet. So previously to my tenure coming on board, like I said, it was a great community. The board on there was doing a great job, a lot of hard work, things of that nature.
It is a lot of hard work.
Yeah, it's a full-time job that you never walk away from.
Right.
You don't walk away from because you live here. So the previous board was doing a very good job. So I wanted to come in and bring some of my expertise, some of my action items and things of that nature as a resident.
Okay.
So when I came on board, the very first thing I wanted to do as a president, I said that we need to make a mission statement for the community.
Wait, stop. Did y'all hear that? They made a mission statement. Now, how many of you, raise your hands. I want to see your social media hands. Raise your social media hands. How many of you have mission statements at your community? I want to see those hands raised. Brandon, I think I saw AJ in here. Okay, so tell us about your mission statement. Yes. You started off with that.
That was the very first day,
awesome.
First thing that I wanted to do, make a mission statement. Okay. Our mission statement is become the most premier community in South Fulton. Ooh. That's our mission statement.
Wow.
So when you
Game on, you guys. Say that again?
To become the most premier community in South Fulton. That's our mission statement.
That's a great mission statement because now you're challenged to do just that.
Just do that. And when you start off a mission statement or anything to be starting off.
To be.
Yeah. To become. Yeah. To be. So it's always a continuation. It's infinite. So you're always growing. So that's the reason why I wanted to start off with that.
Okay.
So when that happened, when we made the mission statement, our charge to the community was that everything that we do must align up with this mission statement. If it doesn't align up with this mission statement, then we're doing something in our own personal benefit and not in the benefit of Cook's Landing.
Now I'm going to have a shout moment.
All right, please shop.
Because sometimes that is what it feels like as a homeowner, that I mean, I haven't had this personally happen, but I'm just sharing what I've heard in some of the communities. That it just feels like, you know, we're being talked down to, we're being told how things will be, and it sounds more or less like what you have done is you've set the bar here, and you said this is the mission statement, this is what will basically set the bar for everything that we do.
Everything.
From the mission statement, if we deviate from it, say that part again.
If you deviated from the mission statement, you take the community out of the equation and you think about your own personal self-interest.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that is how you all hold yourself accountable.
That's how we start off
to stay away from that.
Yeah, we start off every single meeting with that.
Oh, so you even say that?
Oh, yes, during the meeting. Yeah, so.
Monique, do you know the mission statement? Oh, never mind. We'll get Monique on board in just a second.
So we start off every single meeting with that. That's in our slide projection and everything to say, and that's how we hold ourselves accountable.
I love that.
But most important, that's how the residents hold us accountable by being steward and leaders in the community.
I love that.
So that's what we do. I mean, you think about it, no businesses operate without a mission statement.
That is correct. I don't know very many that do.
Yeah.
So that's a good point.
So you need to know where you're going. So that's what we did. Well, that's the first thing we started with the mission statement.
All right.
Once we decided what the mission statement will be, at that point I decided to look at all the vendors that we had on the list. Like I said, we're talking about day one that I'm on.
So let's talk about these vendors. Are these vendors like maintenance? Were they cutting grass?
Yeah, we have lawn care, maintenance. We have a property management company. So we have several vendors. So what I wanted to do is to find out, first of all, what is your scope of work? What is the contract list?
Okay.
What you're doing, does it line up once again
with the mission
statement? You see?
That
so now that's what we do. So
key.
now we want to change the attitude. We want to change the perception of who we are.
You want them to conform actually to your mission and not the other way around.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that is what happened. A lot of times we tend to go to solicit business and we model or we want to do what the contract says. At that point, as a business owner, if you want to consider that, your job is to make the mission. Your job is to build a contract and adhere to and they must adhere to what you want.
Okay.
Rather than the
other way around.
So,
Smart.
So what we did was that once that happened is that we decided, we vetted all of our vendors again, look at who was up to par or not. And when I was able to do that, we was able to find that there was some company that was operating illegally with us. I won't get deep dive into that, but that was operating illegally with us.
Throw them under the bus. I mean, even though I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so we was able to do that. And also with that being said, we was able to figure out, hey, are you going to be able to meet what we're looking to do? Are you going to meet our platform that we built?
Okay.
So we was able to fire a couple of people with that.
Oh, okay.
Because they
had no problems firing
people. No, not at all. Because at the end of the day, they need us. We don't need them.
Do y'all hear that?
You know.
Do y'all hear this? This language, this lingo. They need you all, not the other way around, because you can probably, through that vendor search, you probably already knew in the back of your mind, okay, so if you get some X right over here, then you're going to have to get left behind.
There it is.
Okay.
So the train is going to move with you, without you. That's where
the train move with or without them, you guys.
Okay.
That's very important.
So we went through and vetted the vendors and realized that some of them was not able to meet what we wanted to do here at Cook's, so we terminated that contract and we chose.
Effective immediately.
Well, you have to abide by it. A lot of them was 30-day
time,
so we let them
know
that. At 30 days you're going to be able to, we're going to leave you at that point.
Okay.
So what happened was that not only did we decided to terminate them, we wanted to change the focal point of how we were going to operate businesses.
Okay.
Cook's Landing are a 348 home community.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it's over the course of 3 independent phases.
Okay.
So with that, I knew that we have a lot of skill set, a lot of business owners here in Cook's Landing.
Oh, business owners here?
In Cook's Landing. So I said, why do we need to look outside of our community first to find vendors?
Wow. So did you do an open bid?
We did a business symposium to our business couch community.
My head's spinning. Business symposium.
So what the business symposium was.
That is sweet. That is so cool. So before you went outside of your community, you looked inside of your community. That is really awesome. I like that. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, your business owners here, they have a lot more vested interest in the community.
Well, they live here.
They live here. So we had a business symposium here, and we asked all business owners that if you have a business you want to showcase, we opened up the clubhouse that day for them to come out, and we had a lot of foot traffic for within our community to hire, and we was able to find who we wanted as some of those business owners.
That is phenomenal.
Not only that, but also the same token, you had a lot of clientele, 348 homes, but multiply that by 2 or 3 members in that home, so you have roughly about 1,000 people right here in Cook's Landing that could be potential business customers.
And the thought that the recycling of revenue, I mean, the homeowners are here, they're actually giving back. They're more vested than a typical vendor off the street.
Correct. Exactly.
So I love that whole entire concept. How creative. I mean, I think that's really awesome.
Yeah.
Really
so we
awesome.
were able to do that, so it worked out in our favor at that point. So once we were able to figure out who we wanted to bring on as potential vendors.
And then were they licensed? Did everybody have
everybody had to be licensed. Yeah,
okay,
you wasn't going to operate as a
something
mom and pop
just
shop.
clicked in my mind, like, wait a minute, whoa, you know, I knew they had to dealing with you, Chris, but I just wanted to put it out there. If you decide to have a business symposium, then the vendors need to still be credentialed and licensed.
Business license and everything. Registered in the state of Georgia, the whole 9 yards.
Whole 9 yards.
So they need to be business licenses here, regardless of what your business was. So it was a platform for you to showcase your business to your neighbors.
That's awesome.
But the byproduct for that was that we also, at the same token, we was able to get residency here to get to know their neighbors.
That is
you see the byproduct of that?
I do.
So besides it was a business,
it was a double-edged, like killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I like that. I didn't even think about that part.
Yeah, for the most part, most people don't know 2 or 3 neighbors down from them.
You know, and I talk about that often. That is one of the keys. In my neighborhood, we live in a cul-de-sac, so we all know each other, and we're so close knit that our kids spend the night with each other. And I don't know, if that happens or occurs in a lot of communities, but we, even the ladies get together and the men are outside. It's a camaraderie, and you need that, because when you're out of town or you need something, sometimes you may want to borrow sugar, or you just want to make sure that your neighbor, first of all, you want to know your neighbors to know your neighbors, to know that your neighbors are on the up and up. You really want to do that. So this symposium, I think it expanded it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, that was the byproduct of it.
You could almost do like a fair every year where everyone kind of gets out and connects through the symposium, which I think is great.
And that is something we'll touch on here in a minute. So that's where the business, you're good. So that's where the business symposium came into play at.
Okay.
So we were able to, back to how we became the community that we are. I said, we're not great. We're, once again, to become the most premier. So we're always striving to be that.
You're on your way.
So so now that we was able to vet out the vendors that we wanted to bring on board and let them know, hey, this is who we are, this is our mission statement, you must adhere to it. If not, we'll move on from there.
Okay.
So so far we've been able to do that since we brought those vendors on.
That's awesome.
So that's been a great thing for us at this point.
So Tracy says, hi Tracy. Tracy says that's a great idea. I would bring to my subdivision Sable Chase. Do you know where Sable Chase is? We just had a community meeting, I'm guessing, and that would have been a nice touch to it. All right, Tracy.
Yes, I know Sable Chase. I know
you know where Sable Chase is?
Yeah, I know the board of directors.
Okay, good, good. Well, thanks for sharing, Tracy. I'm glad that this is why we're doing this, because we're hoping that you all hear something that, there's no need for us to reinvent the wheel.
Exactly.
I know that a lot of us are trying to figure out, we're all like bumping our heads, how are we going to do this? How do we get rid of this crime? How do we be proactive? And so that's the purpose of tonight. I know that a lot of times in this group, you hear a lot, and it's really for you to be aware, but tonight is for you to be proactive. So Tracy said, oh, it was for your community day. Okay, Tracy, so good. So you got some ideas for the next time that you have community day. I think it would be a nice touch for them to have a business symposium.
Well, yes,
I think it would be awesome, Tracy. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah. I think that'd be a great thing for a lot of communities to do, because what it does, like I say, you have a lot of business owners in your community. But once again, most people today live in a society where we come home, drive in the garage, let the garage down, we run back out the next day.
We run back out the next day.
So what it does by doing that, you have a lot of business owners right in your community, and you can build your own customer base without leaving your community.
That is
and it just
so
builds
awesome.
Relationships.
It does.
Build relationships.
It does.
So,
hats off to you. Okay, another check mark for Cook's Landing. Another check mark. All right.
Once we were able to vet the vendors, and they must, like I said, they must have aligned themselves up with our mission statement. At that point, we were able to bring them on board, and that's how we started to turn the community around to become more proactive rather than reactive situations.
Okay.
So now that we started doing that, we said, okay, let's start to look at the community as a whole. So we made out 7 goals that we was going to do for the year.
7. Do y'all know?
I meant 12. I apologize. 12 goals.
Oh wait, I was like 7's my favorite number.
Yeah, I forgot it was, right?
That's why we always start at 7, 647, something 7. Okay, so you had 12.
We made out 12 goals for the year, and we talked with the residents, give their input, like, hey, what it is. But once again, these 12 goals, once we set them out, every month that we measure, once again, I said, we come to the community and say, this is how you're going to hold us accountable. Okay. These are the goals we agreed to. Every month, we must provide you a status update where we are with these goals.
And that's money. Is that money inclusive? Like, do the 12 goals include monetary, financial information?
No, it could be whatever. No, not so much. It must be something that have a deliverable attached to it. Okay. Something like cameras, groundskeepers, things of that nature. So it must be something that measurable.
That you're working towards and you're able to measure.
And we did put a financial goal there to say, hey, if we meet X amount of, if we meet this threshold financially, then we talk about let's reduce the HOA fees.
Oh, you can reduce the fees.
The board has the power to do that.
Listen, the board has the power.
I mean, every board does. So it's like.
Oh, they do? Oh, wait. All right. They have the power to reduce.
So it's not just exclusive to Cook Landing now. Okay. So I'm just saying that.
But wait, so Brandon says, nice, recycle the money in the community. Everyone has a trade that they do. That is so true, Brandon.
Yeah.
So take it back to your community. I can't remember where you are. I want to say Legacy at Palmetto. I think that's where you are. But hopefully these are some good ideas for you to take back to, Brandon. Okay, so you had your 12 goals.
We have our 12 goals. Like I said, every month we sit here and we project that meeting agenda and goals and everything on the projector here. Okay. So we, like I said, that's how they measure us. Okay. That's how they hold us accountable, the resident. You say, okay, this is what you're going to do. We need to see where you are at this point.
And you let them know where you are?
We let them know.
Okay.
So after that, so now some of the things that we decided to do, so okay, now we start to see the feel, the tempo of the community and South Fulton. So okay, we start to see there start to be some crime issues. So how do we start to come forward with that?
Wow. So wait, so then here comes the crime.
Here comes the crime.
In the midst of you getting organized and getting everything together.
That was before, but so now we say, you know what? How do we become proactive?
Okay, so let's talk about that. Okay. What was one of the first things? Did the community have a meeting and say, hey, Bria? Did the community come together? Did the community initiate the cause, or was there crime that started occurring and you all
It wasn't so much a crime. It's that I'm a forward thinker anyway by nature.
Yes, I know.
So with that, I said, what do we need to do to be proactive to what we see in this tempo out there?
I see.
So what we did, we started, this was when I was first on the board as president, we started a men's walk every Thursday.
A men's walk. Okay, yes. Brandon. So Brandon, let's take on this charge now. Get you a men's walk. You and Ralph and who else is in here? Go ahead. I'm listening.
So every Thursday, every week, the men would get together. We would walk the entire community. The men.
Did y'all have anything in your hands?
No, we're just walking around. The purpose for
the reason why I asked that is I've seen some people walking, but they may have a stick or something. I was just trying to get a feel and vision. Was it more of a camaraderie? Was it getting to know the men? And at the same time, you're looking around and you're watching and looking for different things in the community?
Once again, it's just by nature. When you walk in, you're going to be observant anyway. But it's just by the men's presence, walking in the community, it's like as if we're taking charge of our own community.
Let me tell you, it's been a long time, ladies, since I've seen a bunch of men walking around in the community.
So.
So that is, were there any single men?
Probably I don't know. I mean, that wasn't a criteria.
Well, I'm just trying to help my single ladies out here. You know,
that wasn't a criteria.
Do y'all have those kind of events where you get the singles?
No, we have not, but that's a great idea, though. Okay. I mean, I don't know how that would go, but okay. We ain't trying to start a matchmaking club here or something.
Jack you all right, I was just asking. Okay.
So we will walk around. Let's say this is what we started when I first came on as a president. Okay. And then I said when I just came back on, so what we would do is that we start to have a community cleanup every month.
Every month.
Every Saturday.
Men's walk, community cleanup.
We'll do a community cleanup the fourth Saturday of every month.
Okay.
7 a.m. The residents, we come out, we grab bags, and we walk in clean up the community. Because at the end of the day, what you see before you drive into the community speaks volumes about the community.
Oh my
if they see trash.
And it's clean. When I come in here, it's pristine clean.
So that's what we did. So we started that, but we wanted to take a step farther. So we decided to do is to hire a groundskeeper So we hired a groundskeeper.
Wait, y'all hired a groundskeeper?
We hired a groundskeeper.
Okay, so tell me about the groundskeeper. What is
the groundskeeper?
So you wait. So wait. I want to make sure I got this. You have maintenance that comes out and clean and cures the yard, and
we have a lawn maintenance.
Lawn.
That's
But you say a groundskeeper, like,
totally independent of the maintenance.
Okay, let's talk about this ground. Yeah.
So the sole purpose of the groundskeeper is to walk around inside of Cook's Landing as well as on the perimeter of Cook's Landing on the major roads. I can pick up trash.
That's all.
That's their whole job.
Does he have on a vest?
He wear a vest sometimes if you remember, but that's his whole job. So you'll see him around every day.
He's here every day.
5 days a week. Every
Whoa,
day.
You guys, they are paying a groundsman for 5 days a week?
5 days a week.
To keep their community clean. Pamela Harvey, I know you are loving this right here. Do you all know this is half the battle of keeping our communities clean? I remember hearing, oh God, what is her name? She is not Major Thomas, but one of the Captain Cotton-Tooth.
Oh, Captain-Tooth, yes.
Lord Captain Cotton-Tooth will tell you that if you have a clean community, it keeps the criminals out because they can't hide, they can't kind of disguise themselves behind cleanliness.
Correct.
So a groundskeeper 5 days a week in Cook's Landing.
And 5 days a week in Cook's Landing.
OMG.
Yeah.
Let me write that, OMG. Let me just type that in here for everybody. Groundskeeper every day. Okay, so go ahead. So he's here. So and what else is he also doing for the community?
But once again, you remember I said everything, there's a strategy behind it. There's the byproduct of by him being on the grounds every day, he's going to be the eyes and ears for the community.
That's
him
awesome.
Not knowing it, but he's going to be the eyes and ears for the community as well.
Wow.
So.
And you budgeted for this in your HOA fees, or was it something that you had to go to the community and say, this is what we're doing? Did you have to increase the fees?
We never increase the fees. So what? The key to it is
Does he live here?
In the community? Yes.
Oh my God.
Remember I said that we hire people that lives here first.
Is awesome. So that makes sense as to why he cares so much.
There you go.
Because I was wondering, you know, I'm inquisitive. I'm sorry.
So,
okay.
So there you go. So we hired him. He's on the grounds every day, 5 days a week, picking up trash, walking around. And like I said, on the roads out here as well, on the outside perimeter, picking up trash on that end. So you do not see him is because he took that day off, but you best believe he'll be there the next day.
He took the day off.
Yeah. So
and that's okay.
You can take a day off.
So you guys have a groundsman. You got your vendors together. Okay, so how else were you helping to be proactive?
So now with that, now we have that. So we decided let's invest in security, which is i.e. security being, we have a mobile security that comes around every day. Yeah.
Mobile security, as in a car.
In a car. You're seeing with the flashing lights on right through the community every day. And with that, we decided to take it a step farther.
Okay.
We decided to, and this is in the Fulton County on the, what's called the Public Works page, there it is that there's no parking on the streets. So what we decided to do is to take that to a whole
big issue in communities.
That's a huge issue in communities.
And you knew it was an issue in yours.
Well, I knew it was us and just everyone.
It's everywhere we go. So you said it's on the Public Works. It's on the Fulton County website under Public Works about parking on the street.
There's no parking on public streets.
There is no parking, you guys, on public streets, and that's available right now on the Fulton County .gov
code enforcement.
Website, under code enforcement.
Right there.
But it's enforceable through your HOA.
Through our HOA and our covenants.
Wow.
So what we decided to do is once again have our attorney to draw up letters to indicate that no parking on there, and this we are enforcing this. So what our security guard does, our security personnel does, like I say, he's on the ground every day. So what he does is that when he rides around, if he see cars that are parked on the street, they automatically get a ticket.
Oh my! So they just get a ticket. There's no warning.
Oh no, we sit.
That's the warning.
You get a ticket. And what happened is that, and I'm going to answer your question, how did we pay for all of this? So this is where it's going to come.
Yes, because Pamela's like, how much is the ground?
Oh, we pay him $10 an hour.
Wow.
$10 an hour.
Wow.
So what happened is that there's no parking on the street. Now, just say for instance that if you need to park on the street for a short period of time.
Like you're having a party or a family over and something.
We have an email address that comes to the board and it comes to the security company, indicating, hey, I'm John Doe. I need to park on the street today from 4 to 8. at this address.
And I will have 10 cars lined up.
Yes. And at that point, so when security comes by, if it's on their book, they will know, okay, we'll keep going by.
You guys are so efficient.
Yeah. So if it's not on their book, then you're going to get a ticket at that point. So what we do.
And so what does the ticket do? Do I have to pay a fine?
Oh, yes, it's a $150 fine for that.
Pamela, $150. So if you walk on the street and violate this code. She says, I've seen utility vehicles in the hoods, and I knew these laws were on the books, but code refused to enforce them. So I guess the value in having a functioning HOA like Cook's Landing is they took it a step further. Because think about it, Pamela, we see now that code enforcement can't really enforce all the codes that are out there today. I mean, it's a phone call, it's a couple of emails, it's a lot. They have a lot of priority levels. I'm pretty sure they're trying to decipher through. Whereas if you have an HOA president like Chris, where they get together and they fine tune it and take it a step further with an attorney.
Yes.
And they lay it out and let you know ahead of time. If you haven't emailed us or let us know that you're going to be parking on the street and you're going to get, you don't even get a warning. The ticket is your warning, and it's $150.
Right.
Absolutely a blueprint for every HOA.
And I'm going to expound on that too. So what it does is that when security comes by and they see a car parked on the street, they will get out, they will take a picture of the vehicle in front of the house. They take a picture of the mailbox that this house belongs on, that this car is parked in front of, and also they take a picture of the tag. So once again, we have, and remember we're talking about the groundskeeper already, landscaper, now we have another set of eyes keeping an eye on the community.
So Alvin is asking, how do you enforce the parking fine? Do you add it on to the HOA? Is there,
yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, you add it on to the HOA assessment. Okay, they have an assessment annually.
Oh, I see.
They have an assessment annually.
So that can add up. You can be in $1,000 of a hole by the end of the year.
So what happened is that is how we enforce it. So because we have amenities, the pool, clubhouse, so you're not able to use any of those. If
you get shut down.
Yeah, if you have a balance, you're not able to utilize any of those.
Your key fob don't work.
Oh, you're not able to do anything.
Okay, Alvin, well, there's your answer.
But here's the part to it is that we wanted to go very aggressive with it. So with the first fine is $150.
Oh, okay, yes.
The second fine is $250.
Okay.
And the third fine is $400. And once you get to that $400 fine structure,
you're towed.
At that point, you can't tow it on the street. Not only on the street, but what you can do, if it's here in the parking lot, we could tow here. But what we do with that is that you automatically go to our attorneys for garnishment.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Wait, y'all are garnishing?
Oh yeah, we garnishing the wages.
Okay, Cooks ain't playing with y'all. Yeah. Don't come park your cars over here. They are not playing.
Yeah. So we garnish the wages.
That's aggressive. Yeah. Like, I think this is one of the most aggressive ones, but I can tell you this, you probably have less people parking on the street inappropriately or without permission or without letting you know than the latter. And it's also a hazard to emergencies.
It's huge.
Fire departments and ambulances can't get through. Someone can possibly sue someone if something happened because the emergency vehicles could not get through the streets. So it's a liability that you're protecting the HOA and the community.
Correct.
Too.
Exactly. And that is what was the very first thing how we presented is that it become first of all, from an aesthetic perspective, it speaks volume when you ride through or come to a community where you got to sweep and rob to go down the road.
Let me tell you,
aesthetic, it doesn't.
I mean, it's such a hassle. It happens right now in my community. And I promise you, I want to download this and send it to our HOA. I mean, we are literally weaving through cars. We've almost run over some kids. It is just a bad position. And these parking driveways now, you can get you can get about four cars in them.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why people like parking on the street. I know it's convenience, but it's an inconvenience to us.
It's being lazy.
It is. Let's just call it what it is.
Wait,
Brandon said he want to move to Cook's Landing. Come on, Brandon. Come.
We'd love to have you, Brandon. Just follow the bylaws.
Brandon, you must be compliant here, okay?
So with that, because aesthetic wise it doesn't, and also it's a safety issue.
It is a safety issue
for EMS, fire, whatever the case. But also,
and even for criminals. Think about this. I mean, criminals are trying to find cars the easiest way to get in them. So if your car is on the side of the street, you're the first target.
And not only that, is that when we first started with this, I went to the ADA for Fulton County and said, hey, this is what we want to do.
Okay, so break ADA down for some.
Assistant District Attorney for this area. Yeah. So with that being said, is that we talked with them, say, hey, this is what we want to do. Of course, she loved the idea, and she said because she had just prosecuted a crime where there was 3 individuals sitting in the car parked in their cul-de-sac for 48 hours.
What?
Waiting to kill somebody, and they actually end up murdering someone else.
Oh no!
Sat in the car for 48 hours.
Because they didn't have the fine-tuned plan and rules in place like you all, that car was able to just sit there.
Just sit there. What people do, like remember what I just said, people come home, they don't pay attention to what goes on in the community, go in and driveway and just let the garage down.
Ooh, does Cook's Landing have a high percentage of renters? All right, Tracy, we coming back to that one because that's a very good question. And then Mia says, oh Lord, good thing I signed on.
Hey Mia.
Hey Mia. So the parking, I would say, how many times have you guys had to have fines for that?
During the very beginning.
To the point to where you had to get the garnishment. Has it gone that far, or do the penalties?
Yes, it's gone that far, especially at the beginning because people
don't believe you.
Well, people don't believe also people are a creature of habit, or they become a creature of habit.
Right.
So they've been doing this for years, and all of a sudden we expect to change that immediately. You know, it was going to be that. So we did give a small grace period with that. Okay. So we gave them a small grace period. Say, hey, if you need to clean out your garage, whatever, we'll give you 30 days to do what you need to do.
So you can be nice.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm always nice. I'm always nice.
He is nice, you guys. But they don't play by their community, okay? Okay, so you gave them a grace period.
So we gave them a grace period. After that, and then we said, okay, then some people say, hey, we didn't get the fine. I mean, we didn't get the letter that we sent out. Things that, okay, we understand that. So what happened is that when security drives around, I said, this was a year ago. Right now, we don't even deal with that issue.
Because everybody knows.
Everyone knows now. You know, it's kind of like the law. You know, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So that's kind of like how so that's how we operate in that fashion.
Okay.
So now that is where we was able to get change the status of our community around.
I like that.
Okay, but also the same token is that because people was going against the system, remember I was saying that we were doing a fine for them?
Yes.
That's how the revenue started coming in. Once again, that was a byproduct. We did not just say, hey, let's do this to build another stream of income. We said, how do we change the community around?
Okay.
That is how we did it.
That is how you did it. Wow. Wow.
So.
All right, so before we move to the next area, let's answer this for Tracy.
Sure.
Does Cook Landing have a high percentage of renters? I think I know the answer, but I'm going to let you know.
I mean, that question is relative to, I don't know what is considered as high. I would say we probably had, I think last time we calculated about 17% renters that we have. That's
very low compared
to But also what we did is that I can explain to you what we did to kind of have them to conform to Cook's Landing standards. Okay. Because once again, when the market kind of, Okay,
so wait, let's read Brandon. Brandon's comment is, we need you to get in touch with Legacy at Palmetto Farms, HOA. Everything you did,
actually,
everything you've done has been on point. Fire Chief Daniels is here. Hey, Chief Daniels. Chief Daniels says, generally the fire code requires 20 feet wide and unobstructed fire apparatus, these big words, access within 150 of the most remote corner of the first floor of the building. If parking diminishes this access, it could be reported as a fire code violation. Chief Daniels, thank you for dropping that pearl of knowledge and wisdom.
So that is where.
So who do they call, Chief Daniels, if you wanted to report this as a fire code violation? Would you report this?
You can just call the police. I'm assuming that
the fire.
What if it's a fire violation? Yeah. You can call the police at that point because or like I said, code enforcement, but it depends on what is the priority list on.
But it sounds like you already have your own enforcement.
Well, we have our own enforcement. so we're enforcing it internally.
But for those of you that don't have your own enforcement, Chief Daniels just gave you information on how a way you can contact the fire department, I'm presuming, to report a fire code violation. And that may then, I guess, result a call over to the police department. So I think I want to know a little bit more about that process, Chief Daniels. Okay, so go ahead and tell us a little more about, oh God, where were you going with
We were talking about the parking and I was the question became is how we was able to pay for this, a lot of it.
Oh, and the renters. We had got on the
yes,
renters.
We
were at 17% renters,
okay.
and what you have in place for renters here at Cook's Landing. Because I'll go ahead and tell you, in some communities, there is no restrictions. And I think things just get haywire. You don't even know who the home, who's been renting or who's staying there. That can be a big issue when it comes to crime. It can just be a big issue altogether. So tell us how it's done at Cook's Landing.
Sure. Of course, when the market crashed and started to recover over that 8-9 year period, a lot of communities started to become transit communities.
Yes.
At that point. So what we realized is that when we send the violation letters out to the homeowner regarding, the grass night couple, whatever the case may have you, we would send the letters to the homeowners.
Okay.
So the homeowners may not cascade that down to their renters.
I see.
Okay. So that's what was going. The homeowners could be living out of state, or it could be an investor, whatever the case may be. So they would not cascade down to the renters. So what we decided to do is we went to our attorneys and say, hey, hey, you want to enforce it. So we went to our attorney and said, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we want to do. So what we implement was that we put in there a right to enter clause, which is on our bylaws. So if there's a violation, exterior violation at a home, we have a right to enter that property to correct that action.
A right to enter, y'all.
Yeah. So once we correct that action, we bill the homeowner back for that. Okay.
You got a right to enter and build a home.
We build a homeowner. Yeah, they're going to pay for pay for that, whatever it is, for our vendors to come out and service that area.
Okay.
So.
And we're talking about what, like a shingle missing or what?
Whatever exterior violation it is, grass not cut, whatever it may be.
So you'll cut their grass and build
it? Yes. We'll do that. So.
Because you want your community. You're going to get it done by any means necessary on both ends. You're going to get paid, you're going to get reimbursed for it, and you're going to make sure it's still done. Okay, I like that.
So what we decided to, what was that? But if we step one step back, is that once again, we talked to our attorneys and we had a leasing agreement. Okay. So what the leasing agreement was, it was signed by the Fulton County Judicial Judge. What it is that we sent this letter out to every homeowner within Cook's Landing. Okay. We say, hey, do you live here? They will sign the affidavit. Yes, we live here. Okay. If you do not live here, you must provide who renting your home, everything about there in your home. So at that point.
Ooh, that sounds like one of them letters you sending your child to school, to a school that they don't belong to.
An affidavit.
Is your child go to the school? Yes.
Yeah, an affidavit. So that's exactly what it was. So we sent that, and they replied back with that saying, hey, this is our renter, this is their contact information. So what we did is that, so now when we send a violation letter, it goes to the homeowner and it goes to the renters, both of them simultaneously.
And if they change, the renters change, does the homeowner have to tell you?
Yes, they do a part of that rental, that leasing agreement, and they pay a fee every year. The homeowner do pay a fee outside the HOA covenant. They pay a leasing fee.
What?
Just for them to lease a home in our community.
Demita says, "Who's your lawyer? Property man." I know that's right, Demita. I know.
Lazega and Johansson, our lawyer.
Okay.
And actually, we just brought on a new community property manager 3 weeks ago, which is First Services Residential, which is out of Alpharetta, which is so far a great company.
They're a great company. Yeah. So do you mind sharing this information?
Oh, not at all.
Like where we can post?
Sure.
I don't know if I want to post it on Facebook, but.
Yes, we are a POA.
What is a POA?
Property Association.
Oh.
Yeah, it just gives you a little more teeth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it
to
does.
enforce things.
Okay. All right. So Chief Daniels came back and said for the access violation, you could call the non-emergency number for the fire or the police department. Fire code violations are generally criminal violations.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chief Daniels, for that, because for people who don't have a system like yours set up, then he just gave some information that may help them to remedy some of the issues with parking on the street.
And that is correct. You actually can do that, but by the time you go through that process, you're talking about weeks or possibly a month before that corrective action to happen.
Yeah.
Ours
so yours is systematic.
Yeah. So we know that we pass by a home that the grass is not cut, we're going to call our lawn care and say, hey, we need you to take care of this the next day or so.
And we're just going to bill you.
And there it is. So now, once again, it keeps the community uniform.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So your renters you have to know who your renters are.
Yeah.
Your homeowners have to pay a fee for leasing.
If they're leasing a home in our community, and if Cook's Landing is not your primary resident, you pay an annual fee to lease your home in our community. So now that we have, that with the leasing agreement, like I said, we send it out to the homeowners.
Okay.
Well, also the same token is that if a violation happens, a continual violation, once it reaches the $800 threshold, we have a right to intercept the rent check. So we intercept the rent check.
Intercepting the rent check, Demeter.
Yeah. So we intercept the rent check from the homeowner. So at that point, once we do that, that's going to get their attention immediately.
Let me tell you, you intercept any check of mine, I'm calling. Hello, did you get my? I was expecting a check. Yeah. Like, could you imagine, Monique? Yeah. I mean, that keeps people on their toes. I'm telling you, what is it that I'm looking for? Consequences. When people know what the consequences are for their actions, they are less prone to commit the act that will lead them into a position to have to reap the consequences. And I mean, we're adults.
Yeah, we're adults.
And unfortunately, some adults have to have this A, B, C, D order. And you guys have this thing down to a science. Like, you can write a book on this. Do you know that? Like, no, you can write a how to have the best HOA for dummies book.
Remember, what is our mission statement?
Hey, don't y'all agree?
What is
right, Mia, like, really, he needs to write a book on this. Just for South Fulton.
Yeah. But what is our mission statement?
To
become the most
premier. Lord, I forgot the mission statement. Please don't.
Okay. So remember I said everything that we do must go in line up with that.
Okay, so she said she missed the answer. They are a POA, yes. Demeter. Oh, and who's the lawyer and property manager?
Lazega and Johansson is our attorneys. And First Services Residential is our management company.
And he's going to send it to me, and I'll email it out to those of you who want it. I don't think I want to put it out on Facebook for everybody to see. So if you're interested in getting the list of contact information that Chris uses, I guess, from a perspective of whatever you're willing to share.
Sure.
Because we haven't even got to all the good stuff. Email me at safercommunitiesnow@gmail.com, and in the subject area put more information, and then I can forward you the information that Chris provides. Is that okay?
Oh, that's perfect.
Okay, because I just didn't want to put it all out.
And
it is public information, but we don't know who all. I don't know.
But the more people we can get to buy in on the same single structure,
and think about it. And the more people that use the same vendors, it could possibly be a. I don't know. This is. I like this.
Buy and discount.
A discount. Hey, Roger Bruce is here.
Hey, Roger.
Roger, how are you? Thank you. I meant State Rep Roger Bruce. How are you? I got excited. I'm sorry. Thank you for joining us. Demeter says, say no more. All right, so you were getting into the
garnishment of the wages.
The garnishment of the wages.
And intercepting the rent check.
And intercepting the rent check.
So once we do that, once again, like I said, we have a threshold, $800 at the most that you can come up with violation. That's why we put a violation. You're only able to commit 3 violations before you go to an attorney.
Because there's no need to let it get to $5,000. I mean, they may not be able to pay it.
No. So once you get to $800, it automatically go to an attorney for judgment. Ooh, and that judgment that you work out, but by the time the attorney get to it, so the $800 is now $1,400. You know, by the time they add,
and they got to pay the attorney fee, your attorney fee, and theirs too,
and everything.
Ooh.
So now that's how we was able to build up our monies quickly and very aggressively.
That's how you guys did this.
Very quickly and aggressively.
And then you reinvested it into your community.
Everything you reinvested back to the community. Remember, you're gonna hear me say this many times. Remember. It goes right back to that mission statement.
Wow, do y'all see what this is so ingenious? He took something that was really, I wouldn't say plaguing the community, but it was something that was causing the community to be in a harmful situation, especially with the cars on the street. He set up these parameters and these rules, but he turns around and takes the money that's intercepted for these violations and used it for what?
Oh, wow. So many things. One is that we invested into our security system here.
Okay, yeah, I want to talk about that.
We have cameras throughout the entire community. You cannot come on Cook Landing property without us knowing who you are.
Oh,
we have some cameras and tag readers to identify who you are coming onto the property.
Cameras and tags? So y'all read my tag when I came in?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, I'm not a criminal. So it's okay.
Yeah. So we have cameras and tag readers in our community. That comes on that you come to the community, it shows you who you are and things of that nature.
Okay.
That was one investment. We invested in dog stations throughout the community. So as people walk in their pets or whatever, that they have a place to dispose of their waste, but also the same token is by putting a little dog station is that if a homeowner is caught walking their pet and they're defecating on the yard, once again, it's a fine. Because now we alleviated the excuse that, hey, I forgot to take baths with us.
So wait, so you can see the people walking the dog?
I mean, homeowner's going to tell on you, or you see it on the camera.
And you just send them a violation?
Oh, yes, it's a violation.
And how much is that?
$150, the first one. So
oh, Pamela, another violation at $150.
Yeah, so the first violation, regardless of what it is $150.
Y'all, let me tell you something. It is so wrong to go out in your yard in your nice shoes and step and poo-poo.
So you talking from experience?
I'm talking from experience. So I'm telling you, this is something that every homeowners association should adapt and not be afraid to implement, because who wants to step and poo-poo on your way to work in the morning? I mean, it's just not good. It's just not good. So she says, do they go to the dog park? Do the people go to the dog park? And if they go to the dog park, are they, I don't know
what that means. Do
they go to the dog park? Explain, Pamela. We'll come back to your question. Yeah. So you have a way to implement fines for improper
violation, whatever violation is.
Okay. Because you have a dog park for them to go to the park.
Well, I mean, yes, you have a dog park.
Bags.
Yeah, we have 10 of those throughout the community. 10 dogs.
Wow,
what we call
dog station.
10 dog station. That is replenished with bags, and once again, that's part of the groundskeeper responsibility. Is that he empty out those dog stations and he dispose of the trash there and replenish those areas back with trash bags. So the
groundsman does.
The groundsman does. So we alleviated excuses that we forgot bags. So that's what my thing was at. How do we do this without alleviating or removing all excuses?
Wow.
So that is where so we were able to do that, reinvent the money back into that. So now we have cameras.
She said you answered her question, by the way.
Okay. So now we have security camera. Now we have tag readers. Now we have dog stations. We have message boards on the front of the community to kind of display what is the upcoming event, whatever message we want to supply to the community. We have that. What else we?
The tag readers. So the tag readers, you have those positioned, and do you guys have like captains? You have captains.
I'm glad you said that. You're talking about like block captains.
Block captains.
I'm glad
to help you with some of this.
One of the things that we're doing is that I call it as a block captain or neighborhood watch 2.0. Okay, that's my label.
Step above just 1.0. Okay,
yeah.
So
that's what I call it.
Okay.
What it is that our security cameras, we have remote access for those.
So when you say remote access, you mean they can be accessible by your phone,
mobile device, computer, whatever the case may be.
Okay.
So we have remote access for those.
Okay.
So what we're literally in the process of doing now, we're doing a training the trainer aspect. So what we're doing right now is that we haven't block captains.
The trainers is so corporate.
So what we're doing is that we're block captains. So what we're doing for our block captains, we're giving them remote access to watch cameras on their street. Okay.
Oh my God! You know how ingenious that is, because now they're not calling you every time.
They don't have to call. So what we're doing, we're putting that responsibility into the homeowners and to the block captain of
delegating.
So what we do with that is that block captain, he or she will knock on the door of their residence on their street, introduce who they are. Also, the same token, if there's an incident where it happened at your home, I'll be your point of contact, and I will supply the information to them.
Wow.
So that is what we do. So also, once again, it get to know your neighbor.
Get to know your neighbor.
Get to know your neighbor.
You guys, this is so phenomenal.
So that's why I said it's called a neighborhood watch 2.0. It's the same concept, except for we're using the technology.
You've kind of taken it a step further, and you're using technology to get the job done.
Because you can access that wherever you at.
That is awesome.
So now that,
because we're in a digital. This is 2017. We should have cameras, literally, you guys. This is why I really heavily promoted the Ring so much. Yeah. We should be at a point in our lives where cameras are everywhere. Including businesses. Yeah. My husband and I were business owners. We had Liberty tax offices over at Underground. And before we opened those doors, we had a camera system. I'll never forget, it was the first day of tax season, and I was in Arizona, and I was watching my staff not answer my phone. I think I about had a heart attack.
Wow.
And so you can do so much. You can be anywhere when you have access to technology.
Yes.
And so that's what I like to hear. Yes, Beth, this is very progressive. And Mia says, Cook's Landing City Bureau. Oh my God, Mia, isn't this like the post? I don't want to say poster child, but this is like a blueprint. Like you need to write this up and sell it.
I think what we all do as a community, and I reached out to several of these communities here, boards, members that's on here. What we do, we work in silos.
And we just keep reinventing the wheel, don't we?
And not realize you have power in economics. So what you could do, and rather than me doing this, a lot of these things that we talk about now in terms of vendors, vetting, we can all come together collectively as 4 or 5 communities and say, hey, let's hire the same vendors. You see how that can kind of work, but we work in our
hire the same vendors and cut costs. Oh my
but we
God.
work in silos.
Y'all better get with Chris. Okay, so Great Britain has CCT in neighborhoods and everywhere. I saw them there as early as 1992.
Yeah, closed caption television, yes.
Yeah, so we're a little behind, Pamela, but again, this conversation, I hope, is inspiring some of you to take a look at what you all are doing or maybe not doing. And like you were just saying, why work in silos?
Yeah.
Why not work together? They have a blueprint here. You guys can make them a donation. I don't know how. Make them a donation for their
so
next.
We passing the collection plate around?
Passing it around. I mean, give and you shall receive. But I'm just thinking, you know, this is such good information that someone should be willing to just say, you know, here, let us. You saved us this amount of money. Let's help give it back to Cook's Landing. And I can tell you another place I think they can give it back to you on. You haven't gotten to this part yet, so I'll let you finish. So let's talk about this. These security cameras, because y'all know I'm all over that, Monique. I'm all over the security cameras. So you got security cameras. They're accessible.
Yes.
24/7.
24/7.
And you have block captain.
We have block. Yes.
Who can look at them too.
Yeah, we're doing that right now.
And it's this is security 2.0. And you have tag readers.
Tag readers.
And you have mobile security.
Mobile security.
And a groundsman. And what? Tell us about what happened in August.
Yes, we had an incident that happened here in August. 2 young men, they went on a crime spree for a couple of hours. They hit 4 jurisdictions in about 2 hours.
In South Fulton.
And yes, in South Fulton, East Point, in the surrounding areas. We happened to be their last stop. So we were able to capture the incident on our security cameras, the tag readers, so the police knew who they were within 15 minutes after we was able to pull that information out. In 48 hours, they had one of those guys captured, and they just captured the other one a few weeks ago.
Y'all, he has helped solve crimes. Y'all, this is such good information. Listen, don't try it. If you are not on the up and up, do not come to Cook's Landing. Just don't do it. Just just turn around. Just, take your car and get out. And this is, you guys, you know what? This is how all of our communities should be. It should be to a point, and I'm going to tell you why I'm saying this, because those guys have probably told their homeboys, oh, no, man, y'all don't want to go over there. Because I'm telling you, criminals scope things out. They look at where they plan, unlike us, they plan where they're going to go. They plan who their victims will be, and it's all based on the area of less resistance. So now they know. They done called Pookie and Ray Ray and said, nah, man, y'all don't go to Cook's Landing because we got caught. And so you help the police. So listen at this. You guys, this is why we're doing this, because you all know how the situation with our officers right now. If we can help them, they are responders. You guys help them solve a crime that was committed all the way in several districts.
Several districts.
Or community, or cities, actually.
Or it was 4 incidents here within South Fulton, Camp Creek Marketplace.
And I think we talked about this in the group. And the other thing is, they were not juveniles.
No, they were not juveniles.
So all crimes aren't committed by juveniles, you guys. These were adults. It was over the summertime. And remember, we always talk about being vigilant over the summer. And y'all didn't have to really do nothing. Your cameras and your tag readers caught it all.
I mean, it caught it all. And, and the great thing about it is that because we have a great relationship with Captain Toots, which everyone out here does. I mean, she's a true blessing.
She is.
So what happened when that report came across her desk that night, or I apologize, when it came across her desk that morning by the incident, Captain Toots called me on my cell phone at 8 o'clock that morning.
Wow, had already got this.
Hey, Chris, this is what's going on. What's happening?
Wow.
So she called me because she knew that was out of the element. So she called me to Yes, it has been. Yes,
Beth, so Beth says, has your HOA been turned over to the residents? Yes, it has.
Yes, for several years now. So we was able to help with that situation, resolve it. And actually, I said Fulton County came out like, hey, we want to know what you guys are doing. I mean, seriously, they want to know. They literally came out here and they took a picture of the camera. They want to know, hey, what do you got? Because they indicated this would help solve this problem immediately. Does. I mean, they said they could have solved it farther down the road, but
if someone else had it.
Yeah. So, but they was able to solve that problem immediately. So those are where we reinvested our money back into.
Oh my God, how ingenious. And some people are like scratching their heads. How are we going to raise the money? How are we going to do it? And if you get your HOA, the violations, I would say, if you start there and create systems to help you remedy some of these violations, and you take that money that you're collecting from those violations and reinvest it in your community, get some cameras, tag readers, hire you a groundsman. I'm sure you have some people that are at home all day and pay them to keep your grounds clean. They live in your community, and you have a mobile security. So you got, they got 5 pairs of eyes over here. Don't come over here and try to do anything that will, just don't do it, because they have so many access points, and you're being monitored 24/7 in Cook's Landing. So Chief Daniel says these investments at the neighborhood level multiply the effectiveness of law enforcement. Technology could save us tax dollars if we use it effectively. I wish I could high five you right now, Chief Daniels, but I don't. My
do
computer,
a like on it.
Yeah, I'll do a like for Chief Daniels. That is so true, and this is one of the things that, oh, I did a pen. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pen. Like,
there you go.
This is one of the things that I've been stressing, especially about Camp Creek Marketplace and areas that businesses, businesses have way more money than we do.
Correct.
And it just makes no sense to me why these businesses do not today, it's 2017, why they don't have cameras. And I'm looking at how you guys have taken your money, you've reinvested it back into your community. I mean, it's such a great story. And how you've helped solve crime. And so would you say that since now that you've been the HOA president for these past 2 years, what would you say what's the percentage of crime that occurs because of the very things that we've just discussed?
You talking about
the percentage in Cook's Landing, I would say on a scale of 100%. So let's just say you were a community before that had 50% crime. Where is it now?
I would say
you haven't been at 50%, but I'm just trying to give the people, because I know what the answer is, so I'm trying to get them ready for what you're about to say.
I would say based off the reports that we look at every month and just hear.
Oh wait, so you're looking at reports every month?
Reports we're able to see. Anyone can go through Fulton County and the police department and look at the reports. I mean, that's
we're gonna get you over here in a minute, Monique.
So I mean, everyone can do that, so it's not just exclusive to Cook's Landing. One of our residents running away.
I know she's running from us.
So I mean, that's not exclusive to Cook's Landing. Everyone can do that. So I would say, looking at it, I would say we're probably 2%.
Whoa!
2%, somewhere around that.
2% crime, you guys.
Yeah, I would say we're somewhere around that. I mean, we're not perfect.
Hey,
once again,
but 2% is almost zero.
Well, I'm not gonna say, but there's 2%.
I mean, but it's still 2%, but it's not 98.
Oh no.
I mean, where would you rather be? Would you rather be at 98 or 2? And so you set the bar. I'm telling you, you have set the bar for some communities, and that's why the police wanted to know what you were doing. This is what it takes. Oh, Veronica says,
hey,
that's
Veronica.
my neighbor. Hey, Veronica.
What's going on, neighbor?
She says, Chris sets the example. Thankful for his efforts.
Yeah, that's my neighbor.
That's your neighbor.
Yeah, that's our great friend.
Veronica. Hey, Veronica. I didn't know you were in the group. Yeah. Welcome. Chris set the bar, and when he was telling me about all of what he was doing, I was like, people aren't going to believe me when I tell them how you all have basically set the bar. So I wanted you to do this tonight. I actually want to pull in Monique. If she's ready. I want to hear from one of your residents just to find out what has it been like to go through these I would say not changes, but to have a HOA that sets the bar. So come on over here, Monique. Yes, you have to be on camera.
Come right here between us.
Hi, say hi to the people. This is Monique. So tell the people, tell South Fulton and everyone else, what it has been like to be a resident at Cook's Landing.
Well, like we said earlier, I've been here since 2004 when it was just a bunch of clay, dirt. And, I've seen a lot of changes. I mean, we had one street light, a couple of cows, and
oh wow!
So I've seen a lot of changes, and I must say that having a strong HOA board who loves their community, you know, work hard to make it attractive and safe. You know, it just encourages the residents to, you know, want to join in and help out and to keep the community safe and desirable to others.
That's good.
And of course, being that premier community as well.
Being you, hey, I mean, I don't know if I can find another one. I'll be looking. Who can match up to Cook's Landing? We should have a contest.
I don't know how you do something like that.
I can put it together. Don't challenge me. No, but seriously, you guys, this, as Monica has said, I'm sorry, Monique. How can I call you Monica? You have my same middle name. Monique has said, it sounds like it's a family here. You have bought into the mission statement. You've bought into the goals of the HOA. You've bought into everything that your HOA president has brought to you. And I'm sure, Veronica, you can attest to this as well. It makes life so good when the HOA boards and the members are on the same page. It sounds like you've left no stone unturned with this because you set that standard. You laid it out. You have the mission statement, then you have the goals, and you report to them, and they see where the money is going.
Yeah.
So have you had to raise HOA fees?
Oh, no, you never have to raise HOA fees. Oh, and actually, God. I would say, and I'm going to go on camera and say this, any community has to raise HOA fees, they're not doing a service of their community. There should never be a need for you to have to raise HOA fees.
Well, I hope y'all hear that.
Should never ever be a need for it.
Should never be a need.
I want to add too.
Oh, yes, come on.
Again, having an awesome HOA board. I mean, Chris and the whole team, they do an excellent job of keeping the residents abreast of what's going on. I mean, we're going to get an email. We're going to get letters in the mail. I mean, if you're around here and don't know what's going on, something's wrong.
Something's wrong. You're not plugged in, right?
Exactly.
Monique, you're not plugged in, and it sounds like, would you say over half or maybe more of your community members know each other? Do you all know, for the most part, especially like in where you live, do you know most of your neighbors, and vice versa?
I know the originals, meaning that I know the ones who've been on the block since I've been.
I see, okay.
Some of the new ones, you know, I would like to get to know them, but.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. Brandon says, you got the community set up like you visiting the White House. Brandon, I know it. OMG. And
is that a compliment?
That's a compliment.
That's a compliment?
Yes, you can't get in the White House, all that security. Pamela says, what's the percentage of renters? Yeah, we did already answer this. So there's 17%.
Yeah, about 17% renters.
Renters here, Pamela. So it's very low compared to some other communities that I know of. So thank you, Monique, for sharing that with us. And there's a few more things we want to share with you about Cook's Landing. What, aside from being like the White House with the security, thanks to Brandon, what other things are you doing with those HOA fees?
Sure. What we wanted to do, remember I said at the beginning that we have a lot of talent, a lot of business owners here in the community. There's no need for us to have to literally leave our community to find what we wanted to do.
Wow. So
one of the things that now we have the adults buy in on a lot of these things, and everything we were forcing towards the adults. So what can we do for the kids?
So what are they doing for the kids, you guys?
So one of the things that I wanted to do, I want to start a STEM camp here at Cook's Landing.
Y'all did not start no STEM
camp.
Did y'all start? I'm gonna get up and shout. Did y'all start?
We started a STEM camp here at Cook's Landing, and guess what? The STEM educator, which is a renowned educator, lives right here in Cook's Landing. So she came here. We gave her free use of the clubhouse for the week. For the summer.
Listen, you guys. Okay, go ahead. I'm not
free use of the clubhouse for the summer, and also the same.
So for the whole summer, the kids could come here and do STEM.
Yeah, do STEM. Yeah, for that. So so we were able to do that. The cost was very minimum to the homeowners, and that went directly to the STEM educator and her team.
Wow.
We did not want any, cost for that. Yeah. And actually, they went on a field trip every week. The board, as that came out of our budget, we paid for that for them going on a field trip every week, educational field trip, and the money came from our vendors.
What? Wait a minute.
We went and knocked on the door, told all our vendors, hey, if you want to operate in here, we need you to help support this business outside of just.
So you had an education fund.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was. A scholarship
fund. Wow.
So every vendor, we gave them a certain dollar threshold that we need you to.
You need to meet this.
Yeah. So every one of them did.
Y'all, they don't play out here.
So that's where the money's went.
They do not play out here.
Yeah. Because you're just not going to come into the community, and even though you provide us a service, but also the same token, we need you to reinvest into our community. So that's what it was. So that's money.
That seems to be the consistency here.
Yeah.
Is reinvest in the community.
You have to be.
And what I like about what you all did for the summer, it is so hard for parents to find a good summer camp. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. And so if I lived out, I'm just thinking if I lived out here, I would be so happy to drop my child off at the clubhouse. Yeah. Every day.
Every day.
I know where my child is every single day. Matter of fact, I ain't even rushing to try to get home because I know my child is right here. Right here. How come it's convenient?
All of them was certified educators.
Certified educators. Yeah. And they lived in this community. Or
one of them lived in this community. The head STEM educator lives here in this community, and she hired a couple of her peers that are educator in the school system.
How ingenious.
Yeah, to work on part of her team to help with that STEM camp.
Let me tell you something about this conversation, you guys. This is what they do up in North Fulton.
Yes, it is.
A lot.
Yes, it is.
In North Fulton, how they are winning and succeeding at education is they are investing in their own communities. Yeah. They're using the amenities that they have, like the clubhouse. They're chipping in. And they are hiring tutors during the week to come and tutor their kids. Yep. So instead of the kids just hanging out and playing around in an after school setting, they're coming to the clubhouses and they are getting enrichment, additional enrichment. And I don't know how they're paying for it. I don't know if they're as fine-tuned as you are. But what I can tell you is that explains why I think I saw Jace post that his child was on the 3rd grade reading level and he's only in 1st grade. I was like, what in the world? So you all are really investing not only in your community and your residents, but your children.
Yes, exactly.
This is, I don't know any other community that I can say, and I haven't been to all the communities, and I don't know if I'll get to all the communities. Let me say that now. But this has set the bar. This is set the bar. Are you planning to do that again this upcoming school year, like this next summer? Are you
yes.
So
STEM was a great success, and the parents, they're ready for it. Yeah.
Do y'all accept people outside of the community?
No.
I got shut down. I tried it, y'all. I tried to get little Noah. He said no.
But you're welcome, though. You're welcome, you know.
Well, the reason why I wanted you to mention this is because your community is safe.
Yes.
I mean, your community is safe. You've gotten it to a point to where you're proactive and not reactive. And now you have a place where your kids can come. And you know how important it is for kids? When I hate to tell you all this, but my first son did not know anyone in our community because I didn't know about my neighbors. I didn't trust those neighbors, and I was in a different community in Atlanta. So I sheltered him. He didn't go outside. They didn't come to my house. You just kind of knew, you know, your intuition as a mom would tell you. But what I like about your community, it sounds like everyone knows each other, or you have an opportunity to get to know each other.
So you have an opportunity
or your kids. You have trusted friends and fellowship amongst the kids, and that ties right into what's happening with trafficking of our children. Our children are going off to places in summer camps, and we're finding out like the issue that they had. I want to say it was in Chattahoochee Hills. It may have been somewhere not far from us when the poor child drowned.
Oh yes, down at Cochran Mills.
In Cochran Mills. And so you guys have taken this to a whole nother level and said, nah, you just come here. And this was a teacher. She had the summer off. So she was making extra money.
She was making extra money, and it was right here in the community. I say you don't have to look outside the community to find the talent and the resources that you need. It's right here. If we open the door, the door gets to know them. And that's what it is.
That's the blueprint, you guys. Well, it's 7:55. Let's see if we have some questions. Did you have anything else you wanted to share?
Sure. I'll talk about some of the activities that we've done. I said we've done a movie night about 2 months ago. About 2 months ago, that was a huge success.
Wait, what kind of movie night? On the lawn?
Yes, right out here.
Screen on the green.
Yeah, right here. It was a pool night. So we opened, pool party. So we opened the pool up for all the residents.
Was that the end of the pool season? Is that how you?
I think it was towards the middle. It was
in the middle.
It was just,
okay.
it was just. Hey,
I was just trying to figure out if it was a way to, end the season. Like, okay, y'all, this y'all last time.
No, it was the middle of the season. I mean, it was just one of those things. Hey, let's come and get to know our neighbors again. So we had a pool. It was a pool party. We rented a huge 20-foot movie screen, watched the movie, and with free food. And
this is your wife. Your wife is her name? Is it Lakeisha?
Yeah.
Hey, Lakeisha. I can't see the comments on the screen. Hey, Lakeisha. She said, "Great job, dear." Yes. Your man, he's been doing an awesome job. You know he's doing an awesome job, and great kudos. Pamela Harvey says, "A well-organized program. She loves it." Can you see the comments?
What do you have, a touch screen?
I do have touch screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm a little afraid of the computer. I don't know it very well.
There you are.
Veronica says we have more frequent meetings for HOA. How much are your fees? How much? Do you mind sharing how much your fees are?
Oh, sure. No, we pay $450 annual assessment.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, $450 annual assessment.
See, Demeter, that won't even break the bank.
Yeah,
$450. Oh, well, don't raise the prices though.
Oh no, like I say, it would never.
Look, Monique's like, wait a minute, Daphne.
No, we would never have to raise the price. So what we did is that when we came on board, we realized there was a high delinquency rate also.
Oh.
Was a high delinquency rate. So what we did
when you first took over.
What we did was that we dumped everyone that had a fee over $450 into judgment.
Oh.
To judgment.
Oh,
so with that, they got a letter from the attorney and the collection agency said, hey, this is what it is. If you don't make a payment arrangement, whatever, we're going to garnish your check and put a lien on your home.
Now wait, I've heard of putting a lien on the home, but I hadn't heard of garnishing checks.
A lot of communities do not go that route for whatever reason. I don't understand
because it's legal in the state of Georgia.
It's illegal in the state of Georgia. 25%. A lot of.
That's a lot. If you think about it, that's a lot.
So what is it going to do?
Because money talks. That's what you're telling us today. Is money talks, and it gets people to do. Kind of tying into what I did on the amendments to the charter. Those your fees, your assessments are right where they need to be. We need for those assessments to be a little higher so that people will think twice.
Correct.
And you have done that out here in Cook's Landing, where I'm telling you, I would just go get my book. Okay, so what am I about to do? Let me make sure I can do this. That's the type of resident I would be out here. I'm saying if I lived out here and we were about to do something, like let's just say we were getting ready to have a gathering, I would want to make sure I don't get a fine.
Yes.
Because I know it is possible to get a fine.
Yes, it is.
If I break the rules. So you've set the bar on that. And it's definitely a step further to garnish wages.
Oh, yes, yes.
And some people don't do it, I think, because they don't feel that they have the time. It sounds like you guys have a good attorney.
Oh, we have a great attorney.
And so I'm guessing you pay them a retainer for the year.
Their retainers come off of what they collect. So that's what their retainers.
I'm about to fall off
so
wait a minute. Wait. Now you. So that is so good. So they're aggressively trying to collect.
We negotiate.
Do y'all see how they have set this system up? Do y'all see this? I thought it would be a retainer. Like for the year, because you may not be willing to do a lot of work.
And not only that, when you put a retainer there, now you're obligated contractually to work with this company for a duration of time, whatever that time frame, a year, 2 years, whatever the case may be. So they may not be as aggressive as you want. But if you say, hey, you go behind this homeowner, this is where you get paid by your 25% off of this, they're gonna work more aggressively. So that is what we negotiated with them. So that is where we are with that.
Okay, so Janet says, hey, Janet. She says, good job, Chris and Daphne, about that summer program for the kids. Is liability insurance needed?
Yes.
Good question, Janet.
Actually, the STEM educator, she had a LLC, and it was all on that. So she provided us all that before she started.
Look at that.
We had a copy on file.
Wow. Good question. What other questions do you have? We'll be on here for about maybe, 10 more minutes. We said we weren't going to do this in an hour, but it's so much good stuff. And I want to make sure that you tell us all about Cook's Landing. Is there more to Cook's Landing?
I would say build a relationship. And one of the things that once again, I'm a forward-thinking person. I don't like to. I won't say I don't like to react, but I think if you can forward-think a lot of things, it prevents.
It does. Out of the box thinking, definitely.
So what we did was that last year, what we wanted to do was that we had a free breakfast for our first responders, which was
a free breakfast.
Well, we had a free breakfast for Captain Cotton Toots, which is everybody loves her.
Yes.
So she became a personal friend of ours.
Oh,
Captain Toots, the fire department in our area, District 3.
So you have what's the house? What is that?
House number 5 right
House
here.
number 5. Okay.
We had them as well as at the time frame LaDon Blackett Jones, which was our state representative.
Okay.
So what we did is that we hired Panache Restaurant, which was off of Camp Creek Parkway here, off of Butner.
Okay.
They closed now.
Oh, okay.
We hired Panache, and we also hired a painting company out of East Point, painting for singles and couples. We hired, which is black owned, both of them black owned. So we hired them. The board paid for it. Said, hey, we want you guys to come here, put your foot up. The only requirement is that you walk through this door, we're not going to talk about work. Let's talk about family. We don't want to talk about no work.
Were you here,
whatsoever.
Monique? Did you come?
No, she wasn't here. Okay. So we invited our committees and our for those respondents here. So you're not going to talk about work. This is going to be a way for us to serve you, give back to you. So that's what. So they came in and like I said, and it was free food and everything. Yeah, free food and free entertainment for them. They were able to do painting and everything here for them. And then it was a way for us to give back. Once again, building relationships.
I love the philosophy of giving and receiving.
Yes.
Because I feel like what you give is what you're going to receive tenfold. So I doubt you all have any problems with any services out here, getting any services, because of the way you treat people. You treat them with kindness. There's not very many, I would say, times that police and or fire departments get a call and say, hey, come here and let us serve you.
Yeah, let us serve you.
Let us give back to you. So I can tell you that goes a very long way. And this is, I mean, another thing, hats off to Cook's Landing. So Beth says, Chris, you and your HOA board should host an HOA seminar and charge for attendance. Does that sound familiar? Didn't I say that?
You did say that.
I did say that, Beth. Beth and I think alike on a lot of things. She said this is excellent information.
Thank you, Beth. I don't see it on here, but I appreciate it.
That's great. Yeah, so Beth is in actually District 3.
Okay.
But again, Beth, what tonight was about was showing you guys, I'm hoping it inspired some of you to take some of this information back. I'm going to upload this on YouTube.
Okay.
So that you all can share this Facebook Live with your HOAs and or put it on Nextdoor. It can go, this is what we want to go viral. We want people to know that in this day and age, you don't have to just sit back and wait on the, you know, I think a lot of people are like, well, I called the police. They took 45 minutes. Well, honey, you can call the police at Cook's Landing, and they have evidence of what's going on, and that's more precious than waiting on the police.
Police is going to be reactive. I mean,
well, they have priorities.
They have priorities. Yes, they have priorities.
Unless you have called and said so-and-so's been murdered, or you know, there's a level 1 priority. Let's just say when it's a car break-in, it does not take the same precedence as some of the other crimes. And I think that's what frustrates us. But if we can turn those frustrations around, you guys, and get proactive and, you know, listen to some of the things that Chris has done out here at Cook's Landing and start working on a plan.
Have to.
And implementing a plan where you don't even have to raise your HOA fees.
Never have to raise your HOA, ever.
And you have a summer camp for your kids.
Yeah. And
you have vendors that live in your community that you have hired to do the job.
Hired to do the job. Yeah.
I'm exhausted from excited and just exhausted from excitement. All right, so Latoya, hey Latoya, she says, is there a way? Yes. So I'm going to download this on YouTube. Give me until in the morning, and what I'll do is I'll post it in the group so you all can take the YouTube link and you can share it wherever you'd like. And please give Chris Jones all the kudos, his board. Cook's Landing should get the neighborhood of the year for what they are doing around crime prevention, what they are doing around being proactive, setting the bar for setting the standards in your neighborhood, keeping it clean. I know Pamela Harvey likes that. And even having some activities for the kids. That is just awesome.
And
what else would you like to tell them?
No, I was just saying, one of the biggest things I would suggest to community is let's stop working in silos.
Okay.
I mean, really, we not to start. Like I said, I see a couple of homeowners on here, as well as board members on here that I've spoken with, but we work in silos. And I think that if we could work together collectively, that unified force, it'll make everything so much better in Coos Landing.
I think
not
so.
in Coos Landing, not probably in South Fulton itself. You know, with that, you know, because there's something, like I said, we're not perfect, but by the idea that we set a mission statement, once again, it helped us to know the direction that we're going. I've been to several homeowners meeting, and their thing is that they just dare provide status update. You can save people time just emailing that to them. You know, why are you meeting just to give somebody a status update about what's going on in the community, financial reports? There's no deliverables with that. There's no action items associated with that. There's no goals. There's no structure. There's no structure. How can the community hold you accountable as a board member when you haven't given them deliverables to say, hey, this is how you're going to measure us by? At the end of the year, in December, when I stand in front of the community, they will see our goals, see what we have performed at.
Wow.
If we have not met those goals, then I need to step away.
She's like, yes.
And she's contested that.
And does it make you proud as a homeowner to see? Okay, that's awesome. That is awesome.
That's how they hold us accountable. So if we haven't done what we said that we was going to do as a board member, we need to step away, or you guys, you know, impeach us, or whatever the proper term.
Impeach? No.
Whatever it is, or whatever, kick us out, or whatever. Vote us off. That's the word. Vote us off.
Brandon, it is the White House. It is the White House, Brandon.
Vote us off. You know.
Okay.
Because once again, if you don't have anything to marriage about, how do you know how good of a job you're doing, or how bad of a job you're doing?
It says, Chris, I'm going to connect with you so you can connect with our HOA. That's from Brandon.
Okay.
I think you can scroll up.
Brandon is where again?
He is in Legacy. Oh, God.
Oh, one of the communities. Yes. Okay, Brandon.
And see, you guys, you may have to.
Janet, Empire Time.
I know she's going. Bye, Janet. She said it's Empire Time. I know. You may want to preface or invite Chris out to speak with your HOA prior to your next meeting. What do you think about that? Because I think there has to be a meeting before the meeting where you get the HOA buy-in.
Okay.
I'm just asking, like, from Brandon's perspective, I wouldn't just want you to show up at their HOA meeting because. Oh no, I would never. Yeah, I'm thinking there would be they may be guarded, but I'm thinking you all may want to find a way to share this video first. Let your HOA hear all of what has been done and implemented, and see if you can help coordinate a meeting. And I'll say this: if you all find that it's more than one community, then that's where I think it goes back to Beth and I's suggestion is have a Cook's Landing how-to HOA. I don't know how you want to call it. It's your show. But how to have a premier HOA. Correct. And invite those people here and help them understand exactly what it takes and what you guys did. I mean, that's just my recommendation.
It's definitely a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
But it's a lot of work, but you see the fruit of your labor at the end of the day. You're able to come home to us, you know, a positive and safe community for the most part. And, you know, something that
Legacy at Palmetto Farm.
Yes. Okay. Very familiar with them.
And Chief Daniels says, wow, a performance-driven community. Great job. Well, that is such a compliment, Chief Daniels, coming from you, especially being that he's a chief.
Yeah.
Chief Daniels.
That's awesome.
And it helps our service departments when we have things kind of lined up where they can just fall into place and do what is needed. So I know the police department really looks on this community as a premier community. I know they do. I haven't talked to them, you guys, but I'm just telling you, this is what it takes to help our police do their job and get the criminals in the event that, and I'm telling you, I see it all because I'm in several of the communities and I see the messages, and it's something that happens every single day, and it has to get to a point to where you all say, you know what, we don't want to continue doing what we've been doing. We want to do something different. And you coming together and starting with that mission statement.
Yeah, I would say before you do anything, start with a mission statement. And your mission statement is going to be your driving focal point. Yep. Before you do anything, start with the mission statement.
Okay, so Ralph says, I know HOAs are much more organized. Oh, he wrote quite a bit. It says, which I don't preside in one. How can we get the original neighborhoods involved in getting input in the community issues and participation? We seem to be kind of on the sideline. So I'm not sure, Ralph, what you mean by that. I know HOAs are preside. You don't preside in one. So are you saying that how can we get neighborhood?
Like more like a community, not a neighborhood, not a HOA community. It sounds like it's more like in a neighborhood where individual single family residents.
Okay.
And an HOA covenant.
So you don't have a HOA covenant.
Yeah,
so you want to know how can you maybe start something similar to an HOA? We seem to be kind of on the sideline. Yeah, I don't recall living in a community like that, but would you say in this case he could possibly get a group of concerned citizens together?
The first thing I would suggest, and Ralph, this can go with you as well as other homeowners associations on here, you have to be visible. You have to be visible. A lot of board members, and I'm calling out a lot of board members, make decisions behind it in the comfort of their home. The only time they see the community is when they're driving out, going out, leaving, going somewhere else.
Wow.
Get involved in your community, walk the street, knock on the doors, introduce yourself. In our case, we have a pool here. I'm here every other day, between myself and my other board members. We're here every other day, introduce ourselves to a resident we don't know.
That's good.
Get out here, become visible.
Right.
And I would say that also, Ralph, that can tie in with you is that just if you do not live in a community, start doing something visible in terms of walking the street, picking up trash. You walk the street enough, people gonna come out. Hey, who are you?
Because I think we're expecting somebody to pick up that trash.
Yeah, just walk the street, pick up trash. But what you're doing, once again, I say the same thing. A byproduct, you getting to know your neighbor. Your neighbor is gonna come nosy like, hey, who is this guy?
Right.
So now you're building a relationship with your neighbors. Also, at the same token, you're giving a service to your community, your neighborhood by picking up trash. That's how a relationship starts to build.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
That is
all over picking up trash.
Just something that's visible and simple. I mean, what's the worst can happen to you picking up trash? Lose weight?
Oh, God.
Think about it. I mean, what are you doing? You're losing weight.
We're walking, yes. We're exercising and walking. Yeah, I guess that
so
is
there it is.
That. And you're keeping the community clean. And remember, crime can't flourish in a community that does not care. That came from a corporal at Fulton County. God, what is her name? I have it on the website. But crime doesn't flourish in a community that cares. That's very key.
Broken window syndrome.
Broken window syndrome. And you guys have you have set the bar.
But we're not perfect.
I'm
going to say we're not perfect. But once again, that we're going to strive to be the most premier community in South Fulton.
Well, what do you guys say about Cook's Landing now that you've heard this Facebook Live? Would you say they have achieved that goal? Pamela says, great exercise, keeping the hood clean. All right, Miss Pamela, keeping the hood clean. I will go out and say from Safer Communities on behalf of being the organizer of this group and where we started last year, I had no idea how much of an undertaking it was to have HOAs. I've been to several meetings. And as we started looking at how crime was occurring and how, like you said, we're just working in silos, we're all wanting something to happen. I have to say you all are the champion of change. You're the champion of taking your community by the reins and saying no more. You're not going to bring that up in here. And if you do, you will be caught.
Correct.
So you're sending out a message not only to your community, but you're sending out a message to everyone else that comes into this community. And it makes it inviting for people to want to live in this community. It makes it inviting for people not to want to leave the community because I can tell y'all right now, it's going to be hard to find another community. I'll see if I can find one, but it'll be hard to find another community that has the system that you all have. You have set the bar.
Yeah.
You have really set the bar.
And what it does is also it's give a baseline in terms of quality of life. Because if your quality of life is up here, when people move in, they're an auto instinct going to kick and say, "Let me stay up here. I don't want to park on the grass. I don't want to keep trashing in front of the house," or whatever the case may be. But if your bar is set really low, you're inviting exactly what you get.
And you keep saying, "We're gonna tow those cars." So and so has the cars on the street. And it's just something about taking action. And the way you all have it set up is one violation is a ticket. I wouldn't want $150?
$150 first violation is $250 the second.
I'd be mad if I got that ticket.
Don't park on the street.
Look how he said it. Don't park on the street.
I mean, I don't know
because you're gonna get the ticket. Okay, Chris. Chris said don't park on the street. But I'm just saying that money talks.
Yes.
It makes a big difference. I hope you all see the difference, and I hope it's inspired you not to necessarily go back and this is what they're doing at Cook's Landing, but how can we partner?
Exactly.
How can we partner? Because the key thing he said earlier is if you all can start using partner, first of all, partner, use the same vendors.
Yeah.
Then you're going to have a price break somewhere.
Or you're going to have a price break.
You're going to have a price break. Yeah. And we're all trying to do the same things, and that is have safer communities. We're all trying to have a community that is thriving, that is the premier community, and why not do it together? Yeah. So I think that's the challenge I'm going to put out there right now is for you all to, I challenge you all that feel like you may be working in a silo to partner with Chris.
And I would say this one last thing here is that once again, it goes back to accountability, how we as a board hold ourselves accountable, as I indicated, that security rides around daily, different times of day, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. How we hold ourselves accountable is that one is that we do not let security know where we live, first of all, and I explained the reason for that. And we also told them, do not tell us the time frame you're coming out.
Oh, wow.
The reason why, because we want to hold ourselves accountable to the same way that our other 346 homes are doing, holding themselves, in that sense. So we know instinctively that, we know they're going to come out the day between 12 and 2. We'll know that we'll park on the street outside of that window. So we choose not to allow security to know where we live, nor we do not know what time they're coming by. But what they do is to provide us a report at the end of their shift every day.
A report every day?
Yeah, every day. Yeah. So that's how we know that they've been out here, first of all. Second of all, we know what did they find or whatever.
Because you can see it on camera.
Yeah, we can see it on camera. But also the same token is, once again, is the residents holding us accountable.
Absolutely.
Us accountable.
I like that.
I want the residents to hold us accountable. If I'm going to stand in front of you, I want you to hold us accountable. Chris, you said you're going to do this. Why didn't you do it? I want them to hold us accountable.
All right.
Yeah. So I'll leave it at that.
Set the bar, ladies and gentlemen. Cook's Landing.
Monique, do you have anything you want to add?
Do you have anything you want to add? You want to come back over here and say bye to everyone? Say bye to your neighbors? You got to come over here. Bye, neighbors. Thanks for hanging out with us. I do appreciate your feedback as well. It's helpful to hear from not only the HOA president, but to also hear from residents and what makes your community, how you feel about your community and how you feel about working with your board. And thank you for sharing that information with everyone. I'm coming to, when y'all have y'all meeting, I'm coming back.
Oh, you are?
I'm coming. I feel like I'm missing some education here, so I want to come
Thursday
back.
of every month.
All right,
Thursday of every month. Thursday at 7 p.m.
All right, I'll be
You're
back.
welcome.
I will be back here. But if you all don't have any other questions, Pamela, I don't know what you're posting. Do you see it on your phone? It's a link or something. Yes, Beth, I hope this was helpful. Chief Daniel says they've done a great job and have likely opened the minds and eyes of others. We all need models for success. Keep up the good work. Our city needs your example. And this is exactly why I wanted to do this. I knew that some are struggling, areas are struggling with what to do, how to do it. And I am hoping, just as Chief Daniels just described, that your model is a model for success. It is a success for you guys, and it will be a model of success for others. And like he said, this is what we need. I mean, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. And sometimes it does take setting aside some egos and saying, you know what?
Yes, exactly.
We can do this different. Because what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing, expecting different results.
Yeah.
So I challenge you all who want to see different things occur and happen to challenge your board to do something different and get in contact with Chris and Cook's Landing, and you all partner up. And like Beth and I agree that there should be a HOA, what would we call it? Information session.
Okay, information session.
And you all should pay him $500.
No, I'm not going to charge him.
I'm trying to help y'all recycle this money.
No, we're going to get the money.
I know you're going to get it. I was just joking. But you all should make a, you know, a donation and bring, you know, maybe they'll bring the food. I don't know, but it's a great opportunity. And I think we'll get to know our other community, we'll get to know our other neighbors that may live not too far from here. So I think this is great. I hope I get invited to that meeting. I'll bring. Of course you will. Okay, good. Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you all for joining. And if you want information on the vendors that you all use, even the attorney and the HOA, what's it called, the management company, send an email to Safer Communities Now. It's Safer Communities Now at gmail.com. I'll post it. I'll actually post it at the end in the comment somewhere. So you guys, I can send those emails because Chris will send it out instead of me posting all this information in Facebook. And I'll email it to you. And then I'm also going to create a link for this broadcast in a, what do I call it? YouTube link. So you can share this with your communities and or on Nextdoor or whatever media that you use to communicate. So I enjoyed this. Thank you for having me. I feel safe in Cook County. That's why I come here. So thank you for having me. And I don't know when I'll have my next Facebook Live, but I am looking for some other communities to come and join and share information on good things. I know we have some other communities out there that are doing good things. And maybe the next one could be the HOA information session that we have. So who knows what will come from the Jordan report. Thanks to Chief Daniels, we have the Jordan report. There you go. And so I have been trying to meet the needs of reporting on different things that I feel will be very helpful to members in the community. So my spotlight community is Cook's Landing, and you guys have set the bar. I applaud you all for what you're doing. I applaud your community members for participating and being willing participants in the buy-in of what all you've implemented. And you've helped solve crime, and you have helped deter crime, and you guys really do deserve, y'all deserve the proclamation. No. That's who deserves the proclamation. We're just doing what every community should be doing. That's correct. That is the key word. That's the key word. So until next time, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you.